It's always nice to start off your breakfast with a slut. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's not that type of vlog. Egg slut, I mean, as in the breakfast place. The day is finally here. The day I dreamed of. The day to have the opportunity to win a WSOP bracelet. Day 3, 1500 event. 28 players left, 27 stand in my way from 395,000 and a WSOP bracelet. That's right, I am here. I am living the dream. So really quick, yesterday I was down to about 16K in chips when the blinds were 2K, 4K. It was crazy because like I literally had to double up like 7 or 8 times, and I won all my all-ins, and I finished the day with 507,000 in chips. The chip leader, I believe, has 1.4 million, and I'm actually coming in 10th out of 28 in chips. And I don't even know what to say. This is, you know, a lifelong dream just to play a WSOP event. My first one ever, and I'm running this deep. Words can't express my excitement. So I'm gonna get in there. Wish me luck, guys. Subscribe and like, as always, and leave your comments below. Let's get this bracelet. Players left, day 3, first hand. We're raising. We came here to win, not to ladder up. We came here to win and win that bracelet. Blind 6,000, 12,000, 2K ante. I pick up ace-9 offsuit under the gun +1, and we're coming in for a raise of 28,000. Folds around, getting the respect the first hand, and folds around to the big blind though, and he decides he's going to make a call. So we're going heads up to a flop here. The flop comes 10, 8, 5, 2 clubs, and I have the ace of clubs in my hand. So I have an overcard to the board, and I can go runner for a straight and runner for a nut flush. So the big blind checks, and I decide to throw a continuation bet out, as his range at this point could be fairly wide. He was in the big blind, so he had some money already invested, so he really could be calling with anything. So I bet the same amount that I bet pre-flop, and I bet 28K. He thinks for a little bit, and he makes a call. At this point, I'm thinking he could have a 10, an 8, maybe some draws. Again, his range is fairly wide at this point, seeing as he was in the big blind. There's a multitude of hands he could have. So I want to see what develops on the turn. The turn comes, and it's the king of clubs. Now this is a good card for us, seeing as we have the ace of clubs, and also on the river, if an ace comes or another club comes, I'm winning. Now the decision is, do I check for pot control, or do I put the aggression on and see if we can win the pot right here? So I decide to put out a rather large bet, and I bet 105,000, really putting the opponent to the test. He thinks about it for a very long time, and I'm thinking it's going to be very difficult for him to continue here. Based on his stack size, I believe he had around 300K to start the hand. And really, at this point, him calling is gonna take most of his stack. So he would either be shoving or folding at this point. So I put him to a very tough decision. Again, at this point, we're 1 card away from the nut flush, and we have an over. And a king came, which also could hit our range as we raise pre-flop, and could have hands like ace king, king queen. So after a couple minutes, he decides to let it go, and we scoop the very first pot of day 3, and we're happy about that. That adds to our stack, and we get close to 600K at this point, and hoping that the run good continues. "20 players left. The play on the tables has gotten pretty much to be a lot of raises, then shove all in, Definitely the players are not very deep stack at this point in the tournament. The blinds are starting to go up, and the play has become kind of nitty, I would say. Definitely it's a situation where you can take advantage if you have a big chip stack. There's a player who is to my right who has been raising almost every single hand. I don't know much about the player. I found out later he was a WSOP Bracelet winner. His name is Ashley Moshi. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I'll show a picture later in this vlog of him, and he has a lot of earnings and winnings. But to the hands. So he's been raising a lot of hands, and he makes it 52K. At this point, the blinds are 12K, 24K, 4K ante, and he makes it 52,000 under the gun +1. It's on me, and I look down at pocket jacks, and my stack is 487,000. I have 20 bigs, so I have a decision. Do I just smooth call and leave myself with not too many more chips and see what develops on the flop, or do I shove and put them to the test? I decide this is pretty much the top of my range of the hands I'm going to hope for when I have 20 big blinds, and I rip it all in, 487,000. Folds around back to him, and he snap calls, and my heart drops because I know I'm probably losing this hand unless he happens to have ace king, and he turns over pocket aces. So we need to get lucky on this one. My heart's beating kind of fast here. I mean, we've survived this far into the tournament. We're hoping we can somehow suck out. Let's see what happens. The flop comes 2, 10, jack. We hit our 2-outer, jack on the flop. Are you kidding me? Hold one time. The turn comes, and it's a king. That's okay, it gives him a gut shot. So either an ace or a queen come, and we're screwed. But any other card, and we double up, and we have a million in chips. The river comes, and it's a 3. We double up, we have a million in chips. We doubled up with a person who was probably the chip leader to our direct right. And, hey, in these tournaments, sometimes you got to get lucky. I did that, and now I have a chip stack where I definitely have more than 40 big blinds, and it's time to play. It's time to move up in this tournament and see how far we can take it. When we get to the 2-table redraw with 18 players left, I was talking a little bit earlier when there was like 19, 20 players left with one of the players, and I was mentioning how, based on what I saw on the table I was at, that the field actually seemed relatively soft. When we got down to 18 players, and I looked up some of the players on the WSOP website, I found out that I was completely, I guess, clueless, or only recognized a couple pros. Lee Watkinson was one of them. There was also another player, forgot his name, but yeah, basically there was a lot of pros with a lot of tournament earnings, winnings, and bracelets. Check them out. 15 players left. We can smell the final table. We're so close. Can we get there? The tension's been building, but I've been calm, cool, and collected. And, I've had a roller coaster of a tournament, but for the most part, I think I've played pretty well. So in this hand, I start the hand off with 875,000 in chips. The blinds are 15,000, 30,000 with a 5K ante. And a player in middle position ends up raising it to 65,000. Folds around to me in the big blind, and I look down and I see I have ace 10 of hearts. So this is definitely a calling hand based on the fact that I already have 30,000 in, and it's basically just 35,000 more to call, and I do call. The flop comes king 10 9. So it's a pretty coordinated board. There's definitely a straight draw there. I'm first hacked in the big blind, and I think it's a simple play. I think I'm going to check and see what the original better pre-flop does. So I make the check, and he throws out a bet of 75,000. So based on his bet, it's standard sizing, I would say, based on the pot. And I think about it for a little bit. It's definitely a board he could have hit, but I think it's too tight for me to just fold and not even see the turn. As it's very often players will continuation bet on any flop. Although this is a bit dangerous of a flop and I could be very well behind, I think it's too nitty to fold. Let me know in the comment section below if you would have called. I think I can afford to call based on my stack and at least see one more card, and maybe he'll check and we'll get to see a river for free, or maybe I'll hit a card and I can check raise. We'll see what develops. The turn comes and it's a 7 of clubs. This puts out 2 clubs on the board. The 7 card is not the card on the turn that I wanted to see. It doesn't help my hand at all, and so I decide to check. The opponent bets 225,000. At this point, he's shown strength on the flop and on the turn, and I cannot call at this point. I'm thinking about folding, but at the same time I'm thinking if I can shove all in here, he may fold, but I would be risking my tournament on a complete guess because I do not have enough information on this player. So I decide to take the safe route, maintain the chips I have, and I make the fold. Obviously I think this was the right play, as there's no point in risking my tournament on a complete crazy all-in bluff. On to the next hand. 14 players left. I'm assured $19,125 at this point. We're in the small blind. We have a pair of 4s. The action. Blinds, 15,000, 30,000, 5K ante. Player middle position, shoves all in. He's a short stack at the table for 275,000. Folds to me in the small blind. Like I told you, I have pocket 4s. Decision. Do I risk 40% of my stack, give or take, maybe a little bit less, 37, 38%. Not sure the exact amount, but my stack at this point is 670K. So it's a sizable amount, but if I win the pot, it can get close to back to $1 million that I had earlier. So I have a decision. What do I do? What would you do? Comment down below. I decide that I need to accumulate chips. He could be shoving with anything. He's short stack. So I decide to make the call. I am pleasantly pleased with what he turns over, as he does not have a pair. He has Queen Jack of spades. So I'm racing, I'm flipping with my 4s. The flop comes. Queen right in the window. That's not good. 7, 8. Turn is an 8. River is a 6. And we lose the hand. Now we are the short stack with less than 400,000. And we need something to happen soon. Ten minutes later, maybe. Blinds are still 15,000, 30,000, 5K ante. 14 players still remain. It folds around to the button, who announces a bet of 1 million. Yeah, that's right. The blinds are 15, 30, and he announces a bet of 1 million. Only having to get through the small blind and the big blind. He easily has both of us covered, as the small blind has around 400,000 and I have 375,000. Small blind folds, and I decide to look down at my cards. The first card that I look at is an ace, and at this point I know I'm calling, as I only have 13 big blinds and I'm not going to find very many better hands than any ace at this point. The second card is a queen. I snap call, I turn over my cards, and he turns over king, queen, and we have him dominated. So we just need to hold, get back in this tournament with a lot of chips. Let's see what the flop brings. The flop comes 10, 9, 4. He's got a gut shot, but we're still ahead. Turn is a 6. And the river is a miracle jack. He hits his gut shot. Our dreams, our hopes of the final table of a bracelet of $395,000 are gone. At that point, it was a crushing blow to get that close, to run so deep, to get so close and bust after losing a flip and losing a hand where I had the player dominated and he sucked out and got lucky on the river. It's crushing. I don't know what other way to say it. But I did run good earlier when my jacks cracked aces, so I really can't complain. I had my fair share of luck, I played well, and you know, I got 14th place out of a tournament of 1,783 people. I'm not complaining. I am very happy with the result now in retrospect. At that moment, yes, I was speechless when that jack hit the river, but now I'm very proud of my accomplishment. It's my biggest live, cash in a tournament, and I'm very pleased with that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this 3-part vlog. Remember to like and subscribe, leave your comments about any hands, about the vlog in general. You guys know, if you have commented in the past, I always respond to every single comment. I'm trying to grow my my channel and my subscriber base, and I appreciate all you guys honestly for watching. It means a lot to me, and be on the lookout for more vlogs now that I'm going to be doing some more cash game vlogs now that I'm back in Miami, back on the grind. And you should see some more of those poker vlogs coming to a YouTube channel near you soon. Peace out.